Welcome to Better HR in 10 Minutes, where we take a topic important to human resources and talk about it in 10 minutes or less from a perspective of an employment lawyer and an EEO trainer. I'm the employment lawyer, I'm Sarah Glasser.
And I'm the trainer, Rodney Klein.
Okay, so Rodney and I have a really interesting topic today. I don't really think it's legal advice, so I'm going to very quickly give my disclaimer. We're just friends, we're just chatting. This is not legal advice. Uh, so Rodney, I was reading a few articles the other day talking about this term that I know everyone watching has heard before, the idea of a person's authentic self, and and whether a person ought to bring their whole authentic self to work or a part of their authentic self or how much of their authentic self. But that kind of begs the first question to me, which is what does it mean to bring your authentic self to work? And then I think we probably ought to talk about just I don't know, is that a good idea? What do we think about that? So I'm going to pitch it over to you. When I say bring your authentic self to our YouTube videos, what does that mean to you?
Well, I think we have to kind of back up a little bit and pitch
Okay.
this in context. And I think that you hear people talk about bringing their authentic selves to work, and there's a specific context with that. And that is that maybe historically or throughout their careers, they just haven't been able to be their full person, the person who they are at work, to bring their full skills to work. And they feel like that hinders them. That may be because they're actually told not to do it or told this is the way you have to be. And it kind of keeps that person on the back shelf. And
Hmm.
I think in that context, the idea that we need to feel comfortable and confident coming forward and saying, hey, this is what I think, then I think those are good things to do. But I will kind of say that there needs to be a bit of a nuance to this, because I
Hmm.
think people should bring their authentic selves to work in terms of their content, right? In other words, you have a unique set of eyes that you are putting on particular problems at work. And so you need to be able to address those through your lens, through your perspectives and your experiences. And that is super important, not just for you, but for the organization. They need to hear this. I always said that part of my job was to tell my boss what I thought. Now, I never asked my boss if they thought that was a great idea, but I thought that was me being loyal to my boss.
Yeah.
But we're talking about terms of content, we're talking about terms of style. I think the point being is that everybody needs to sort of bend to the people in the room. That's just what we naturally do. And I understand that some people may feel like they have to bend more than others, and that's a big conversation, and we should have it. But, I also have to say that I've been trying really hard for 35 years not to bring my authentic self at work to work. And I'm sure the people I work with have greatly appreciated that. So,
Mm.
Sarah, what are your thoughts on this? Because now we're talking about this from a stylistic point of view, but
Yeah.
this can also have very real workplace implications.
It can. I think maybe we could use me as an example. And I hate to kind of throw myself out into the spotlight, but it's probably a good it's a good way to talk about it. Um, so when you're talking about stylistically putting yourself out into the world, um, it, it it is you are absolutely correct that it can have professional implications. So our YouTube videos are a great example of that. If folks have been watching for long enough, they know that I'm a little bit silly, a little bit irreverent. Um, but I have a lot of thoughts, and I happen to think that I'm a really good employment lawyer. And one of the authentic selves that I try to portray to the world, to my clients when I'm teaching or training, is that you can be yourself and you can be the person who you are, a little bit silly, like to make jokes, talk with my hands a lot. And you can also give really good legal advice. And so long as the silly talking with your hands part doesn't detract from the work that you're doing and the actual content that you're putting out, then you're probably in good company and not going to find yourself in a position where the way that you put yourself out, the way stylistically to the world, detracts from your career and the work that you are doing. But I talk about this in training pretty often. all of us, every single one, you, me, the person down the hall, every single person, when they go home and they sit at the dinner table with their family, or they go to, out to happy hour with their close friend, non-professional friends, they talk about things that are a little bit more personal to them. And so it is correct in all instances, I think, to say that we've got a home self, a friend self, a work self, all different kinds of selves. And the friend self that makes dirty jokes at the bar, or the friend self that talks about things that your coworkers don't want to hear, should not come to work. And maybe that's too easy of a bright line rule, because it's not getting into the more complicated nuances of it, but I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I think that, as I said before, I think we all have to bend to the people in the room. Now, I
Yeah.
understand that that's more aspirational than actual. And the argument comes into play that, well, not everybody's bending, right? I'm always asked
Yeah.
to bend this way, but this person that I'm bending with or towards, they're never bending back. And I think that those are really good discussions to have. And those are bigger discussions. So I don't want to discount the fact that there's a lot of validity to those.
Yeah.
It's just that I think there needs to be a little bit of nuance. Is authenticity doesn't necessarily mean, like what you said, you're going to bring all of these different parts to work that doesn't they don't necessarily belong to work. But I do
Mhm.
think it means that you need to be in a place where you're comfortable and you can and your content and the things that you have to deliver to an employer in your job are things
Yeah.
that you can do in a sense that makes you feel valued.
Yeah, I think to kind of bring it full circle to what you said at the beginning, there's another aspect of being your authentic self at work, and you kind of started me thinking about this as you were talking about how, perhaps for some people, for their entire career, they have been told, keep it buttoned up. You are a professional, or you are supposed to present a particular image at work, um, and that image doesn't necessarily match with their authentic self. I do think that we are in a time now where being your authentic self in the sense of connecting with people and
Right.
sharing things that are somewhat personal to you. Rather than talking about the weather, perhaps you could talk about the fact that the weather is bad today and that's impacting you because you like to walk a lot, and bringing something personal to the
Right.
conversation. And that is the type of authentic self that will endear you to colleagues. And if you are in a business development role, I think will help you a ton, and just make being at work perhaps a little bit more fun as well, because you develop personal relationships with people.
Right. Great topic.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we're probably at 10 minutes, which is our absolute cap for the Better HR in 10 minutes talk. So thanks for joining us. If Rodney and I can help you on anything, whether it's legal related or perhaps related to your authentic self, give us a call.